Any question you have, throw it in there.
Yeah. All right. Well, you had a question from a friend of yours, Electric Dan.
Yes.
Hey, what is this? What is the question that he had? What's the scenario? And what is your experience come into play here?
It's a Ghetto Grocer question. His daughter is working in a supermarket and going in and out of the coolers and the walk-in freezers is causing her to get chest ailments. It's something I had a lifelong problem with. Probably ended up killing me in the end. You know, I still get chronic bronchitis if I'm in wet, cold environments. So, number one danger, the dairy walk-in. Okay, thank God they don't have chicken boxes anymore. That used to be, you know, the most horrible cooler. But the dairy walk-in has mold in it. So when you are breathing in there, you are breathing in mold. Plus the air is moist and it's above freezing. What I did in the dairy walk-ins, when I figured out that the stuff I was coughing up out of my chest tasted like the dairy walk-in and the dairy case smelled, God. I knew that I had mold in my lungs. Okay, so, but that's not what I've been worried about. That snuck up on me. I knew that the frozen food was killing me, okay? And I did both. I do a shift of frozen food and I switch over and then I do dairy. You had to do the frozen food as soon as it came through the door because little stores you didn't even have a place you could put it. You just had to put it right out on the shelf. So if we go back to the dairy box, the best thing that you can do is not breathe in it.
Oh, okay.
All right, so if you can have stuff on a U-boat, roller rack, or a pallet jack, take in a deep breath and go in there, pull it out, sort it in the hallway. Do not sort it in the dairy box. If you can't do that, you get one of the masks that construction workers use that got the metal thing up here that you don't want to breathe in paint and sawdust.
Matt, what?
Okay, well,
what's a mask? People wear masks for things.
Well, I saw them at a clothing show 2 days ago outside wearing these masks. Okay?
People wear masks in public.
What this does is it causes a pocket of warm air right in here that is more important for me in the freezer. With the dairy box, I'd rather just hold my breath because the mold could probably get through the mask.
No, okay? They can't. Stuff can't get through masks.
But, in the frozen food box, that mask, if you breathe into it, breathe in through it before you go in, you now are going to be breathing the cold air from outside through this warmer air that you have in your mask.
Right.
And the moisture, there's a lot of moisture floating around in the freezer, that'll condense on the outside of the mask, so you're also not breathing that stuff in. The other thing is, whether you're breathing through a mask or you're not, when you're in the walk-in in the freezer, breathe through your nose. I've done so much of this, I can't even do anymore. This nerve in my eye bothers me when I breathe through my nose.
Yeah.
But it's a way to get your sinuses to warm the air up before it goes right in your lungs, so you don't immediately get these cold crystals right down in your lungs. And it's very important to remember this out on the floor, because most of the cold air that you're breathing in, you're not breathing in back in the boxes unless you're doing inventory. You're breathing it in out on the floor. So to stock these cases, you have to put your head in them. So breathe in, put your head in, and then when it's time to breathe, pull your head back out of the case. Exhale, breathe in, go in. So you're like swimming in this cold air. So that helped me, you know, last like another 10 years doing that kind of work. And the worst thing is to go back and forth between freezer and dairy, because you're drying your lungs out and getting ice crystals in them at the same time with the freezer, and then you're going in a dairy case that's moist and it's got mold floating around in it. And that dairy case that's out on the sales floor has mold in it. It's probably got more mold in it than the big unit that you walk into in the back. So when you stick your head in a dairy case, do not inhale, exhale. And what the supermarkets will do to get a good mold reading in their store is they put in these overhead purification systems that get the mold out of all the air except for the air that you're breathing in the dairy case. Okay, it gets out the little bit of mold that floats out of that dairy case. Most of the mold is continually circling back into that dairy case.
Oh, you're making me afraid. It's like the old 90s
so
news
breathe
reports.
through your nose. Don't breathe in with your head in the dairy case or your head in the frozen food case. Breathe in outside of it. Exhale in the case. Breathe in outside of it. Definitely wear a mask when you go into these walk-ins. Okay, because even if it doesn't stop the mold in the dairy box, it will cut down the amount of moisture that gets in. And then you just throw that mask out at the end of the shift. It'll be soaked anyhow, even from just putting it on. And you don't keep it on outside the box. You want to hang it out there so it can dry, because the main thing it's doing for you is warming up the air. That's why, you know, Eskimos, I actually know Eskimos, that they have they're real thick up here.
Yeah.
Because when they breathe in through the nose, it'll warm the air up before it gets to their lungs.
Yeah.
Okay, so
there you go. The hidden dangers of the dairy section. Reminds me of, like I said, it reminds me of the 90s news reports where, like, can your, thing in your grocery store kill you? They used to have those cool stories. Apparently they were right.
Yeah, 38 years I worked in supermarkets, and people, once they hit 50, are in bad shape. For some reason, a dairy guy always sounds like a chain smoker, even if he's not. So you want to be careful with that. And eventually it's going to trash your hands too.
Oh yeah.
I went through a period where I could hardly even open my case cutter anymore, so I got transferred to grocery. I'd explained to the boss I can throw more freight in grocery because my hand's locking up on me now. I've been in frozen for like 20 years.
Yeah, was it bursitis or what is it? That's arthritis. There's a rheumatoid.
So when you can, get transferred out to the dry grocery section. You'll last longer doing that, but it'll be harder on your back because the stuff's heavier. The good thing about the frozen food is that it's not heavy, and the dairy stuff is heavier, but there's a lot of drag and wheel setups that help you cut down on the amount of stress on your lower back.
Well, make the Zuma punks go in the dairy and the frozen. That's what you should do. All right, here's to all the dairy guys. It was nice knowing you.
And the frozen food freaks.
And the frozen food freaks. You keep America fed and fat, and you die of your lungs filled with fluid as your reward. All right, man.